Hello, everyone. Jai Gurudev. So, welcome everyone. Good evening. Jai Gurudev. We are live again on this Wednesday, sorry, Friday, with very two special guests, two well-known teachers of art of living from West Bengal. I would like to introduce first Professor Vivarshi Nandi. Uh, he has been with the art of living for more than 20 years now, and he has been training youths in different programs of art of living as well as states. Has traveled across India, and we have been calling him for various talks. कुछ भी एक फील्ड उठा लेते हैं उनके साथ उस पे डिस्कशन हो जाता है भैया के साथ. So today we have him in conversation with one of our most dynamic teacher of West Bengal, Ankur Agarwal ji. Ankur Agarwal is very well known among the youths of Bengal and India. He has been coaching many of them personally and mentoring them into their career, into their life. And also, recently, he has traveled across Bengal into the villages with Project Bharat. And he has also been instrumental in shaping lives of many of our rural entrepreneurs, yuvacharyas, and mentoring various rural projects in Bengal. Thank you, both of you, for taking out this time and discussing about the upcoming Durga Puja celebration in West Bengal. Both of you are born and brought up in Bengal and are very well versed and very well known with the culture and celebration of Durga Puja. And Devarsi sir has is a very well read, and today we would hear the historical and the cultural significance, the tradition of worshipping Mother Divine, and we would hear some stories from him today. So all the viewers, we would like to have your questions as well. So all of you can keep commenting your questions. Maybe Ankur sir can take those questions after asking few of his questions from here. So over to you.
Thank you so much, Vivekanand, for such a warm introduction. I would like to welcome all of you who have joined us from all over to this series called The Tales of Devi. And especially, this is such a important time for all of us here in Bengal. Durga Puja is coming. What better than having Ma, waiting for Durga Ma to come? Durga Puja, we wait for the whole year for Durga Ma to come, and you can smell the celebration when you are here. We are all in Calcutta right now, and you can see in the streets people shopping, and it is like one big festival, which is coming up. It is so amazing. It is incredible how the whole city wakes up to Durga Ma. So yesterday in our series of Tales of Devi, we spoke about how any festival has two aspects, right? Yeah. One is the celebration. We have all the fun and frolic and go all around, have all the masti. And then there is the spiritual aspect, the adhyatmic aspect, which is the homas, the bhav behind the pujas, the mantras, the meditation. You go within, you go deep, and you experience the Mother Divine. So today, let us go into the origin of Durga Puja. How did it all start, And what is the legend behind Durga Puja? What is the essence of Durga Ma and Mahisasur? It'll be very nice to see this aspect as well. Yeah, what do you say, Devarshida? Yeah.
Absolutely, Ankur. I would like to thank Vivekanand and the entire Art of Living West Bengal. I'm audible, clear? I'm audible?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to thank everyone who's behind this great initiative and this event coming up. And you have so nicely put it. I was going through yesterday's session also. So, as you already mentioned, like I'm a true bred Bong, as we know, a Bengali. And this is the greatest festival that we, celebrate over the year. And it's like almost like we wait for the entire year for the next puja to come. I mean, it's almost like, when the last day when the Devi or the idol is immersed in the river, the last words we say is Ashche bochor abar hobe, means we will be waiting for you, O mother, the next year. So it is not just another festival. It is like intertwined in the culture and ethos of our, of this entire place. So right from Nepal, Jharkhand, Bihar, Odisha, and even Bangladesh, Durga Puja is a very essential part. But the core, the essence of this puja comes up about in Bengal. So as you asked about so Durga Puja, first of all, let us just understand this, that there are two Durga Pujas every year. The one which we are celebrating now is known as the Sharadiya Durga Puja, or the Durga Puja of the month of Ashwin. I mean, this is the Ashwin in the Hindi or the Bengali calendar. In that we celebrate it. So like the moon, it is like, when is it celebrated? When is the Durga Puja celebrated? It is celebrated in the Shukla Pokha, means the waxing moon and the waning moon. After Amavasya, when the moon comes up, then the first 15 days as the moon increases, this is known as the Shukla Pokha. And then when the moon again comes down from Purnima to back to Amavasya, it is known as Krishna Pokha. So in this time of Ashwin month, this month of Ashwin, we celebrate the Sharadiya Durga Puja, what we are going to celebrate now, which we know as Durga Puja. And the other Durga Puja is celebrated again in the month of Chaitra, that is during the springtime, when again in the Shukla Pokha of Ashwin we celebrate the Bashanti Durga Puja. So we have got two Durga Pujas, the Sharadiya Durga Puja and the Bashanti Durga Puja. But of course, all the hoopla and the ambience and everything is about this particular Durga Puja. There are different other forms of Durga Puja. In fact, it is interesting, Ankur. There are places where Durga Puja is celebrated over 15 days. In fact, there is this particular temple, Mrinmoy Mandir, which is in Bishnupur, where they celebrate Durga Puja right from Mahalaya itself for the period of 15 days. So it is not just, as we see it. There are different places and different versions of this puja. The first ever Durga Puja, according to our Puranas, was celebrated by Krishna Bhagavan at the Vaikunt, where he used to play with the Ras Leela along with when he used to play there with all the Gopikas, he celebrated Durga Puja, and this is officially recorded as the first ever Durga Puja, or invoking the mother, rather, not really a celebration, but invoking the mother, which is known as the first Durga Puja ever. After that, second time the mother was invoked was by Brahmaji to defeat two Rakshasas known as Madhu and Kaitav. Now, Madhu and Kaitav, we'll come back to it later also. These two Rakshasas, to be defeated, Brahmaji took the help of the mother. And then the legend says that the next time that Ma Durga was invoked was by Shivji himself, when he became afraid, so-called afraid, of an Asur known as Tripur. So to defeat the Asur or the demon known as Tripur, Ma Durga was again invoked. And finally it is said that the Rishi Durvasha gave a curse to Lord Indra, for which he lost Lakshmi, and then to get Lakshmi back, he had to take the help of Ma Durga. So even before Durga Puja became a part of our people celebration, the gods themselves called the mother, it is said in the Puranas 4 times. This is one version, of the whole Durga Puja festival. Like, this is how the mother comes to be. Now, it is important to note that Durga Ma, as we celebrate, is part of the Shakta tradition, means it is a part of Hinduism or the Sanatan Dharma which deals with the mother in the form of the destroyer of the evil. Like, the mother is everything, no? We know the mother is everything. The mother is also the one who gives us peace. The mother is also the one which gives us prosperity. The mother is also the one which gives us knowledge. But overall, Ma Durga is the form which is known as Durgati Nashini, means destroyer of all our troubles or evils, which we symbolize in the form of demons or asurs. The greatest of whom was Mahisasur. So that is why the destruction of Mahisasur, or the destroyer or the end of Mahisasur, was brought about by Ma Durga in the form of Mahisasur Mardini. So that is the most important legend of Ma Durga, that when Mahisasur came and troubled the gods had to take refuge and went to Brahma and said that, getting troubled by all the asurs. So when he did that, so then Brahmaji had to go to Shivji and then tell that I cannot help, and so you need to intervene here. And then Shivji, Brahmaji, and Vishnuji, all the 3 trinities came together, and they gave their energy or their force or their grace at a particular place. There's a rishi known as Rishi Katyayan. Rishi Katyayan was also a worshipper of the mother, and so along at that place, at the ashram of Rishi Katyayan, the mother was invoked for the first time. So that is why Ma Durga is also known as Katyani Devi in our legend. So this is the most common form of the legend of Ma Durga, which is very interesting.
So she has the qualities.
Name comes from.
She has the qualities of Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. We can say that.
Right. So I think I'm not audible.
Yeah, you are audible.
I'm audible? Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, I am not able to hear. Okay. So now, another very important aspect, just before we finish this off, because we are talking about the beginning or the origins of Ma Durga, there is a totally different line in which says that, Bhagwan Ram Ji was the first to invoke Ma Durga. Now, this comes from the Ramayana. But again, traditionally, the most accepted form of Ramayana, which is known as Valmiki's Ramayana. It's interesting to note here that Valmiki ji did not mention Ma Durga as a part of that Ramji invoked her. So Valmiki's Ramayana does not mention Durga Puja as a part of it. But there is another Ramayana which is known as the Kritibas Ramayana, in which there is this mention of Ramji wanted to destroy Ravan, and the fight took place at this time. Now, Ankur, it is very interesting that this Durga Puja is also known as Akal Bodhan. What is the meaning of the word Akal Bodhan? Means that wrong time of puja. You know why?
Akal
Bodhan. Akal Bodhan means wrong time of pujas. It is known as Akal Bodhan because this is the time when the Devtas sleep. That's what they say in the legends. In the time of Sharat, the Sharat Ritu hai na, this time the Devtas go to sleep. So this is not the time for puja. So it is interesting why we celebrate Durga Puja now, because Ramji had to fight Ravan, and Ravan was a Shiv Bhakt. So Ravan had the blessings of Parvati Devi, Ma Parvati on him. Then Brahmaji said that, listen, since Parvati Devi is on Ravan's head as Ashirvad, you need to worship Parvati Devi only and ask her for help. So to do that, you have to worship her in the form of Durgati Nashini. So that is where Ramji worships Ma Durga to take her help to defeat Ravan. The story goes that he worshipped her for 3 days, which we today celebrate as Shashti, Saptami, and Ashtami. But Ma Durga did not arrive. Ma Parvati did not arrive. And then he took a special form of worship in which he took 108 blue lotuses
as offerings to the mother. And Hanumanji got those 108 lotuses, but hid one of them, ek ko chupa liya, as to see whether how much Ramji is devoted to the mother. And Ramji is also known as Neel Kamal. So he's got his eyes is considered the blue lotus-eyed man. Ramji's eyes looks like lotus. So he went to pluck off one of his eyes to give it as the offering of the 108th lotus. So much was his devotion for the mother. And at that moment, the mother appears. So this is another beautiful story about how Ramji invoked Ma Durga, and this is mentioned in the Kritibasma. So it's so interesting, all these legends and how this whole thing happened and how we worship Ma Durga today in its form.
So Ravan is also part of the Mahisasur. We can call him another form of Mahisasur. Then in that case, and
how we can actually, Mahisasur stands for all the obstacles and all the problems that we face in our lives, and I'll tell you something very interesting about Mahisasur here. Since you mentioned Mahisasur,
also
have you ever wondered?
Before you start, another thing. So Ramji killed Ravan, and the time he took to come back to Ayodhya and then celebrate Diwali is the date between Dashmi and Diwali. Is the time he took to come back? Is it?
Well, you're getting a few legends mixed up, but mostly you're right. But mostly you're right. That's how it is. And coming back to Mahishasur, since I was talking about Mahishasur, we have all seen this Durga idol, no? So where we see Durga Mata is killing Mahishasur, but we have never wondered why actually there is a need to depict Mahishasur in the idol. See, if a king goes and defeats another king, then you worship the victorious king. You don't worship the defeated king is not there in the picture. If you observe carefully, this is the only form in which the enemy is also depicted as a part of the Pratima or the idol. Every Durga Mata has got Mahishasur as a part of the idol. You know why? This is very interesting because legend has it that when Mahishasur was fighting with Ma Durga, he had the vision of that he's going to die. So he goes and starts praise to Ma Bhairavi, Bhadrakali. And Bhadrakali ko jaake he says that, I'm going to die, so I want a boon from you. So Bhadrakali says that since you are fighting with Ma Durga, I can offer you no boon because she is the greatest of all. But one boon I can offer you is that even after your death, whenever Ma Durga is worshipped, you will be you will always be at her feet forever. So it is because of this legend that whenever we construct the Murti of Ma Durga, we also keep Mahishasur at the feet of Ma Durga. It's so amazing that, how everything has got a legend associated with that and a story associated with that. And sometimes we don't know all that. Sometimes we just say, wow, it looks so nice. But
it makes it so beautiful, even more beautiful, so much more meaningful. Yeah. Talking of idols, some of us had this question, including me. We're curious on how Ma Durga comes with a family, rather than when we celebrate Diwali or when we celebrate other utsavs, we see it is just one idol. But we had this question on why Ganesh ji, Kartik, and Saraswati, and four idols with Durga Ma. If you can throw some light on that.
Yes. Before we get into the idol part, we must understand many of us don't understand the role of worshipping a form. We all nowadays we talk about God is there everywhere. So what is the point in worshipping an idol, or what is there special in worshipping in this form or that form? See, if God is there everywhere, then God is also in the form. God is not outside the form. So that's why we say in beyond the form also and in the form. Triguna Sahitam. We don't say Triguna Rahitam. We say the Lord is a part of the three gunas also, and the Lord is also a part of the form. And why so much importance is given to form in our culture or mythology? That is because throughout our lives, we relate to form. If I tell you rose, then the first thing that comes in our mind is the form of the rose. Uska appearance, uska chehra, uska
shape,
khushbu.
color.
Right. So, if you want to capture something very abstract like the Lord, and if we say that I do not think the form is important, you might be technically right, but you are making the problem, making it very difficult. That is why even when we have traditions where they give a lot of importance to there should not be a form, finally some or the other form comes. So
Otherwise,
the form
it is
is
like
as important as the. Tell me.
Devarshi, otherwise it is like worshipping space, which is very difficult to worship, isn't it?
Very difficult. And when you worship form, you must capture the attribute which you want to worship. I will give you an example. Every form that we worship in Ma Durga, in Durga Puja, has got a specific symbolic significance. Of course, we know that Ma Lakshmi stands for wealth, and Ma Saraswati stands for knowledge, and Ganesh ji and Kartik ji, these are the four sons and daughters who are on both sides of Ma Durga. But even small things. I will give you an example. Ganesh ji has a Vahan, which is the rat. Right? Now, have we ever wondered why do we keep a rat there? Why is there a rat as the Vahan of Ganesh? The rat is known to symbolize Maya. Why Maya? Because, see, if you buy rice or you buy food edibles from your own mehnat and keep it in your home, who will steal that? At night, the rat will come and eat and steal it off. So like that, if you are trying to move towards a spiritual goal, then what will steal it away from you? Your obsession for Maya. And our tradition says if there is an obstacle, if there is something which is working against your goal, you should not fight it, you should worship. Like that's why I say, प्रकृति अगर आपके खिलाफ काम कर रहा है, तो प्रकृति को नमस्कार. ऐसी माया को नमस्कार किया. Rat symbolizes Maya.
Very beautiful.
The owl, which is there as a Vahan of Lakshmi, symbolizes that the night is the best time. Night means late night, early morning. The owl is the only creature which is awake at night. So it is like the person who is totally involved in worldly affairs being told that be like the owl, means stay awake at night, means basically stay awake in darkness, means did you get that? So the owl is a symbol of and worship, which can be done in darkness, means when you are totally not absorbed in the light of the world. And the swan, which is the Vahan of Saraswati, stands for breath. In our Puranas, we write that 21,600 swans are needed to cross the ocean. Now, what is the meaning of 21,600 swans to cross the ocean? In one day, we approximately breathe 21,600 times. So with every breath, if you are able to be aware of your breath, you can cross the ocean of what? Ocean of misery. So, when you go and stand in front of the mother or the idol, that form can make you realize what is beyond the form. The form is a sort of a hint to the formless. That is why we say festival, utsav, and gyan, or the significance of it. So next time when you come for the Durga Puja or when you see the Durga Mata, look at the rat, look at the swan, and look at the owl, and think that, okay, this is what it stands for. I will tell you a little bit more about this. Very interesting. The Astras, Durga Mata is blessed with 10 weapons. 10 weapons. You know that? 10 gods gave them 10 weapons, gave her 10 weapons to fight the Asur. So we just know, okay, she has this in one hand, this in one hand, that. But what are those and what do they signify? You want to hear? Should we share this in the show?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
First, we have
I
the
was
Khondo.
about to
Khondo means
ask,
the sword.
Devarshi, I wanted to ask about the 10 hands. How did those 10 hands come?
Dashabhuja. You know, we call it Dashabhuja. It means that a lady is capable of handling many things at the same time. That's why when even in our Bengali folklore, if someone is able to do a lot of things, we say you are like Dashabhuja. Means you're able to do so many things. Jack of all trades. So that is one way to explain the 10 hands. You know. So one hand carries the khondo. Khondo means the sword. You know what is the meaning of sword? Sword stands for intellect. Whenever we talk of buddhi, we use the word sword of intellect. Buddhi ka talwar, because buddhi is like a talwar. When you use buddhi, you are able to you are able to judge what is right and what is wrong. So you are able to break it with a talwar. So the
Sharpness is
sword, which
also
was given by
associated.
Ganesh. So if you are a devotee or if you are on the path of spirituality, you need to carry the khondo or the sword in one hand, the sword of intellect. The second hand carries the trishul. Trishul means the trident, which was given, of course, by Shivji to Ma Durga. Trishul stands for the three arms, the three ends of the Trishul is the past, the present, and the future. So one who holds the Trishul is beyond the three kals. And the Trishul also stands for the three gunas, Sattva, Rajo, and Tamo. So you are Trigunatit and Trikalatit, means you are beyond the kalas and beyond the gunas if you are carrying the Trishul. So as we get into meditation, as we get into spiritual practice, as we do these homas, we are able to go beyond this. The play of the gunas and the kala is given by Shivji to Ma Durga. And the third hand carries the Sudarshan chakra, which is given by Vishnu, which symbolizes the cycle of life. Like life is like a cycle, no? We call it like a cyclic pattern of life. We are born and we die. So it symbolizes that by the Sudarshan chakra. And the fourth hand carries the Vajra. Vajra means a thunderbolt. If you see careful, there is a thunderbolt, like a lightning. It is the Vajra, which is given by Indra. Indra Bhagavan ne Vajra diya maa ko. And that is a sign of unshaking firmness. When you are carrying the Vajra, Vajra means someone who is not shaking. Even Gurudev says when you do pranayam, you do it like in Vajrasan, means like firm, like a warrior. So it is Vajra, carrying the thunderbolt of Indra Bhagavan. And the fifth hand carries the Tir Dhanush, the bow and the arrow, which is a sign of focus. The Tir Dhanush is a sign of focus. So when you are pointing your arrow to something, your total focus has to be on that. So when you're doing your spiritual practice or your worldly life activities, your mind should be like a Tir Dhanush. It was given by Vayu. And then the next hand carries the spear, also known as the Bharji, which is a sign of discrimination. It was given by Agni. So spear, someone who carries the spear is a sign of discrimination. The seventh hand carries the Shank or the conch, which is a sign of the omnipotent sound of Om, or the primordial sound. Varun भगवान ने ये शंख को माँ के पास दिया था. So it is a sign of the primordial sound of Om. And the eighth hand carries the lotus of Brahma, which is a sign of unfolding your way to enlightenment. Like the petals of a lotus open up towards enlightenment, so you open up to enlightenment. The ninth hand carries the axe. The axe was given by Vishwakarma, which is a sign of destruction of evil or obstacles in this case. Whatever obstacles are coming on our way, they can be removed by the axe. And the 10th hand, though nowadays many people do not keep it, but the 10th hand is supposed to carry the snake, Sap, because the snake is a symbol of
Awareness.
Shivji. And the Shivji is the cause or the perpetrator of whatever is in Srishti, the Purusha behind all the Prakriti. So when you are carrying the snake, it shows that you are connected totally to the cause of all actions in the world. So this is the Dasha Puja, or the 10 weapons, and we actually worship those weapons and put it on the mother table. That is the beauty of the even what we known as the Astra Puja or the Shastra Puja, where the weapons are not put in the beginning; they are worshipped and then they are put at a particular. So every small aspect of the mother has got a spiritual significance. So when we come to a guru, or when we come to a Sadguru, we are able to understand what is beyond just the form, or we're just caught up in the external. Oh my God, kitna acha pratima banaya. Oh my God, this has got so nice colors. Oh my God, this looks so beautiful. But there is much more behind it. It's so much of knowledge. Right?
Very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. I had this question. I had been very curious since my childhood on the significance. What is behind our culture and our Puranas, and how is it relevant in our day-to-day life these days? And I had this question on how to make it so easy to understand, and for our youngsters who sometimes I feel uh, they are in this mindset that these things are not for me. I am not meant to do pujas or homas, or spirituality is for the old. And so they are connected to the celebration part, but not so much to the spiritual aspect. How do we express ourselves in a manner where the millennials, the young insta ready youth, tomorrow's generation, they understand the value of the beauty and the depth of our culture?
You know, it has been an experience as a professor all my life. When I see a student and I feel that that student does not know his or her subject, the first thing I realize, it is not his or her fault, it is my fault. I mean, if today's generation is not able to understand the significance or the beauty of whatever lies behind just the celebration, it is up to us to make people see it. It is so rich and vibrant, our culture is, but we need to just be a little bit, have a little bit of trishna, jisko bolte, a little bit of thirst for understanding what is behind it. I will give you a small example. On Ashtami, we do this Anjali. अष्टमी का अंजलि होता है, महाअंजलि होता है जब सुबह. So we say this small prayer. Everybody dresses up, takes bath, goes in the morning. The pandals announce that there is an Ashtami, and then there is this Purohit who's there, and then we take some flowers in our hands, and then we do the puja. Now, what happens is the Purohit is supposed to say certain words, and we are supposed to repeat after that at the end of the puja. It's a small words, invocation. We are supposed to throw that to the Lord, to the Mother. But we never wonder what we are doing. We just do it. So then it becomes like a routine. Oh, chalo, Anjali de kya. But what is Anjali? What does the Purohit say? The Purohit says Om Jayanti. Om Jayanti matlab invoking the third eye of the Mother. Om Jayanti. Then he says Mangala. Mangala means the Mother which grants well-being, Mangal to all of us. Then he says Kali. Kali means one who owns Kal. Kal means Samay or time. So Kal. Then he says Bhadra Kali. Bhadra Kali means one who gives us peace. So it is Om Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadra Kali. Then Durga. Durga stands for Durgati Nashini, destroyer of troubles. Then he says Shiva. Shiva means witness of the Shiv, or the cause of everything. Then he says Shama, means the one who can forgive Brahma. Then he says Dhatri, means one who runs the world. Then he says Swad, means one who grants freedom from the problems of the world. Namastastai. So the whole Anjali Pranam goes as Om Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadra Kali Durga Shiv Shama Dhatri Swada Namastastai. Now, when we are saying this, if somebody can explain to us that this is what it symbolizes and this is what we are praying to, then the whole experience becomes different. So, like I myself have been a part of Art of Living for so many years. So I was reading about what Gurudev says about Navratri, and he had said this beautiful thing that in Navratri, it is a time for us to go beyond the conflicts and problems of the world. So he was naming these things. He was even saying your Madhu Kaitav. Madhu Kaitav, he was as small children, we have always read Madhu Kaitav as two Rakshas. But Gurudev says they are craving and aversion. Shumb Nishumb, they are represented as greed and jealousy. So like that, all these symbolisms, once we understand and we spread it to people, how to spread it, people should get connected to this experience. For example, when we have homas, when we have these pujas in the proper form, the people should come and experience it, talk to their teacher, go through the various courses that a spiritual path offers. Then they will be able to understand what you were saying. That the beauty of this whole. Otherwise, we are just stuck up in the celebration, just the celebration. So it becomes very Rajasic. Rajasic means it becomes very full of another experience, but it is not just an experience, it is beyond an experience. Understanding what is beyond the experience. Right? I was just giving this small example.
Very well explained. Very beautiful.
So even this small thing, Durga. Durga comes from da, u, ra, ga or ma. Durga comes da, u, ra, ga और आ. तो दुर्गा बनता है ना. तो दुर्गा का हर एक उच्चारण का एक मीनिंग है. द मतलब जो हम लोग बंगाली में बोलते हैं द्वैत्व, मीन्स जो डेमन्स को डिस्ट्रॉय करते हैं. तो द इज द्वैत्व का नाशक. एंड द उ स्टैंड्स फॉर विघ्न नाशक, जो प्रॉब्लम्स को हटा देता है. And the R stands for Rog Nashak, means जो illness को हटा. And the G stands for Paap Nashak. And the A stands for Bhoy Nashak, means fear also dissolves. So when we do our sadhana, means do our spiritual practice, when we do our pujas, when we do our homas, to the mother and within ourselves in meditation, then these 5 things happen. What are those 5 things? 5 things are your demons, means your obstacles also goes off. U, your problems also goes off. Ra, your illness also goes off. Ga, your sins also go off. And A, your fears also go off. That is invoking that is the beauty of invoking the mother. So every small thing, Durga comes from that word. It is so amazing, and they are all given in our scriptures. They are all present in our scriptures. We just need to understand. Just need to understand the purpose of a guru. Right? So Ankur also has been in Calcutta all these years. So he must have been a total experiencer of the Durga Puja here.
I remember traveling with you and visiting the different pandals of Calcutta a few years back, and you were explaining the significance of each pandal and how it started and how it is an integral part of the Bengali society, and with all the pomp and show. I'm already so excited. When we were talking, I was thinking, yet another 9 days of fun, frolic, masti, and the whole mahal is something to witness. the whole environment. इतना अच्छा लगता है. I've also planned to invite a few friends कि ये पूरा देखने लायक है. ये आप एक्सपीरियंस ही कर सकते हैं. वो थियोरेटिकली नहीं बता सकते कि कितना सुंदर होता है ना. दैट फीलिंग मुझे लगता है कितना भी समझा के वो बताना बहुत मुश्किल है कि हमारे लिए वो 9 दिन क्या होते हैं. फॉर एवरी all of us who are staying, I call myself a Bengali because born and brought up here. तो हम लोग के लिए each one of us, it is actually the relationship with Ma is so personal. तो हम लोग कहीं भी हो पूरे इंडिया में या दुनिया में, हमें एक बार तो आना चाहिए यहाँ और ये देखना चाहिए. It's a lifetime experience, isn't it, Vivarshi?
Absolutely, absolutely. My friends have come at different times and experienced it. I would also like all my viewers, to all whoever is present here today, that this is also a very good time to go within. Not just be lost in the experiences outside, but we must also take, part in some homas and take part in meditation courses. Because yesterday also Rishi Swamiji was talking about it, that this is a time when a lot of things are in place. Means a lot of subtle forces are in place. Navratri bolte na? Navratri means the nights, no? So the auspicious night. So this is also a time when we must get into our sadhana, meditation. You can always, be a part of these yagyas and homas. They bring a lot of what is known as punya and, a lot of grace and blessings on our lives. Everything has got a tithi and a time. So there is a particular time. For example, we did not have Durga Puja traditionally like we have this time, 1 week after Mahalaya. If some of you did not notice, Durga Puja is supposed to happen 1 week after Mahalaya, but this is also known as a Malmash, means this is a time when, 2 Amavasyas have come in the same month, this month. That is why you are not supposed to have the puja in this time. So ये जो पूजा होता है ना, नवरात्रि बोलो, पूजा बोलो, ये सब planetary positions देख के decide किया जाता है. So there are times when everything is very perfectly set up for Karya Siddhi, means for work to achieve its fruition. And Navratri is one of those times. So this is the time when we all become a part of not just the celebration, but also, our meditations and homas. And
Speaking of homas, I had this question of कि हम लोग जो संकल्प लेते हैं होमा में, और वो बोलते हैं कि आप मन में संकल्प ले लो और उसको छोड़ दो, समर्पित कर दो, एंड देन इट मैनिफेस्ट्स. तो ये तो थ्योरी हो गई, पर बैकएंड में ये सॉफ्टवेयर काम कैसे करता है?
देखो, दुनिया में हर चीज के ऊपर इफेक्ट पड़ता है. ये तो हम सबको पता है. Even if we read physics, we know that everything in creation affects everything else. Every matter affects every other matter and energy. Now, our rishis found out different methods by which different things work, and one of them was the process of yagyas and homas. Now, having said that, this is very elaborate and difficult to conduct one, because उसका नियम बहुत है और उसका जो arrangement and everything is very complicated. So उसका आयोजन करना, उसके पार्ट लेने से क्या होता है? When we take a sankalp, we put our mental commitment into that occasion, into that invocation. Acha, many of us have read, for people who are not relating to this, you have read the book known as Secret. There is a book called Secret, in which it says that if you have a desire, then the whole universe conspires to give you that or something like that. And we say, wow, this is so amazing. So that time we don't ask, how does that work? That works because we are all a part of the same system. It is the same mother or the same Lord which made everyone. So there is no reason for him or her to not give if we want something and it is good for us. Having said that, there are different procedures to do that, to make that happen. So one of the science behind that is there are 3 gunas, which is tamas, rajas, and sattva. And it is said the more the sattvic principle rises in life, the more things happen early. Like when tamas is more, even if you put effort, it will not achieve fruit. When rajas is more, you have to put a lot of effort and you will achieve its fruition. And when sattva is more, without putting effort, you will get its fruit. So the whole purpose of yajna and homa is to increase the sattva in us, so that with very little effort, we can achieve what we want. So when we are part of the yajnas and homas, even if we are financially contributing or becoming a yajman or becoming just a witness to that, then our sattva increases to those chants, to those processes, and things become fulfilled. This is a very, very beautiful science. It's a very, very secretive science. And I have been a beneficiary of that all my life. Just through sattva, you can, sattva se karya siddhi. Only through sattva, you can make things happen with very less effort. So increasing the sattva happens through puja, homa, archana.
I just had this thought in my mind when you were speaking that sometimes we don't value what we have. हम लोग के culture में, संस्कृति में इतना कुछ है, पर वही रीपैकेज होके जब वेस्ट से आता है, तब फिर हम लोग वाओ, we share it with people and we flaunt it, and we question our own culture when it comes to our Puranas, our for example, this small thing is Sankalp, how we glorify it when we see the movie Secret, but it is actually talking about Sankalp. It's amazing,
It is there, no?
So,
Even Bollywood uses the power of Sankalpa in all its rom-coms. If you see, the hero has got this Sankalpa in the beginning of the movie only, and then it happens at the end. So it is very beautiful how, we know it, yet we somehow have the British or whoever has systematically made us deprived of our own knowledge. So getting back to our roots, understanding our culture, we will discover so much more. There's so much.
thank you so much, Devashida, for this enlightening session.
Thank you, Ankur. I think we had a great time and it was so nice. We are continuing to have a series of talks on this, I guess.
Yeah.
So if you
This
have
is
any
just the
questions, you
beginning.
can inbox.
Yeah.
You can ask us. Just be a part of this whole celebration. We'll share the details how you can be a part of it. And we are continuing to have this session every single day, I guess, right, Ankur? Even tomorrow we are having it.
Right.
I would like all of us to get more and more friends and join up and have a beautiful time.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So the celebration continues online, and then we have the homas in Calcutta. This time we are so lucky. The Navratri Durga homas from Ekam to Panchami. We can all take sankalpas, be a part, and from Shashti to Navami, we all celebrate, the entire state of West Bengal. It's like on the streets. And we'll come again. Keep watching this space. और भी बहुत videos आने वाले हैं. And you can post your questions and let the celebrations begin. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. It was lovely having all of you on board.
Jai Gurudev.